Hello and welcome to another Career Soul event. I'm very excited actually for today's session for several reasons. First is because I really missed it. And the other is that we have Simin with us today. And I'm super excited about the conversation that we are going to have because I am a Sunderland University graduate. So I have experienced it all. And I'm super excited for everybody else to hear about it and ask questions and, involve. So it's double exciting for me. I am very happy to welcome Dr. Simin Ballochzadeh, lecturer and module leader at Sunderland University, who has kindly agreed to join us today and talk about the Masters of Project Management at Sunderland University. I'm going to make sure that I will ask the questions that would matter to you, but please drop your questions also in the chat. I will make sure to address them. As you may have heard, Sunderland University is becoming known for several things. It has become the first in the Northeast for the student satisfaction, all 2024-2025 results. It's one of the top 40 UK universities. It's the first one in the Northeast for how teaching staff, make the subjects engaging. It's one of the top 10 universities for career prospects. So there's so many things that it's happening there. And as an alumni, I can confidently say that, yes, it's all true. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. About Simin. So Simin has, this great experience of being both a Sunderland University student and lecturer, and professor. So I'm sure that you will have lots of things to, tell us. So please, did I cover everything? Would you like to add anything to this, Simin?
No, it should be okay. That's fine.
So could you tell us a bit more about how you ended up in project management and how you ended up teaching it, really?
Do you want my story from start?
The more the better, yeah.
Well, I did my undergraduate in Iran and I studied automotive engineering in Mashhad. Then I started looking around for different universities in UK to see which one I can get admission to. So I applied for a couple of universities, Newcastle University, Sunderland, Greenwich, and there was another one. And I got admitted to all of them, but Sunderland was project management, whereas the rest was mechanical engineering. And I couldn't, studying in Iran for 4 years in undergraduate, I couldn't accept or believe it that I can get an MSc in mechanical engineering within a year. So I decided to shift my way towards project management. So that's why I accepted the Sunderland University's offer and I came to study project management back in October 2011. So try not to figure out my age, but yes, I joined Sunderland in 2011. I did my master. And after that, I got admission at Sunderland University to do my PhD. And then after that, I moved to another university to work for them for a couple of years and then came back to Sunderland University to teach. When I was a PhD student, I was teaching on a part-time basis. So to my current colleagues, I've never left Sunderland since I joined Sunderland University.
Yeah, that's really exciting, actually. To leave both of them to, experience it as a student and then as someone who sees all the students come and go, learn, and then turn to something that they wanted to, and go to different path. That should be really, I don't know, joyful.
Yeah, and also heartbreaking to see people coming in here for a year and then leaving.
I know, yeah, it's too short, to be honest. It's good in some ways that it's a year, so, but it's also compact and, yeah, it could be longer. We wouldn't mind as students. It was fun, really.
true.
But I mean, being a student myself, I also went through all the process of application. I mean, researching all the universities that I wanted to apply, and then choosing some, and then applying, and then happily, going through it at that university. So I think there are so many people that choose this course and this university based on, whether they like it, they may have some experience in project management, or they are, aiming to build a career out of it. So, I mean, based on what you've seen in all these students and the reasons that they encourage them to enroll in this course, how much do you think the curriculum actually addresses those needs, from the students based on the modules that you provide, the methods, or, a combination of maybe, the teaching and assessment? Could you explain a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, sure. So as you know, project management is a very broad subject area, which is dealing with lots of different elements. So what we do within this 1 year, we split things into 3 semesters, where students will study a couple of modules each semester, and finally they will do their final year project, which is a dissertation. Now, within the modules that they study, we try to mix elements such as people management, things like communication, how to do human resourcing. Then we have another module for contract and commercial aspect side of the project, where a student will delve into what are the elements when it comes to contracting with national and international companies or projects and suppliers. We also do module for leadership and risk assessment, because risk assessment is the main part of the project management, and having, let's say, millions of backups. What if something goes wrong? So you will have to do some risk management and also something around quality. What are the techniques you will use to assess the quality of whatever decision you make within your project? Then we also have another module for understanding organizations and systems. So different types of systems, we evaluate them and we try to teach the students. So whatever these modules we cover, we also try to align them with what APM and PMI wants, the Project Management Institution, and I think it was the Associate Project Management Institution wants, to make sure that the students, once hopefully they get a job in project management, they already know those key important elements as well within the management job. And I
I
would say
see.
the
Yeah.
rest of
So
it you will learn when you get to your role. You will learn and you practice.
yeah, I mean, there's so many things that happen, and as much as we can get ready, there's also always something that, may cut us off guard. But yeah, obviously, I mean, that's life, really. But you mentioned, going in line with the APM guidelines and PMI, and if I remember correctly, there are modules addressing, as you mentioned, the companies and the organizations, and understanding them. So in light of that, are there any, I don't know, maybe partnerships with industry or companies, or some things like some opportunities that gives students a better understanding of how it really is in real life? I remember having guest speakers when I was the student, and it was really interesting, because they were giving us real life examples of the challenges they've had, the problems, and the things they were looking for. So for me personally, it was a great, chance to go and learn something, or to connect with someone, this sort of stuff. So is it still happening, or has it changed in any way?
In terms of memberships, I know that students, while they are studying with us, they can join either APM or PMI,
Thank
and
you.
they get access for free from whatever events they are running or whatever resources they are sharing with our students. From perspective of guest speakers, I would say, to be honest, sometimes it depends on the lecturer as well. So if we do have connection with people, yes, we do invite them to come and talk, let's say, for 1 hour of lecture. For myself, for example, this year, because I've been a program leader for engineering degree apprentices, I do have lots of connections with industry. For example, in northeast of UK, we have companies like Nissan, Caterpillar, or Marley, Farmer, and so all of these companies, we do have access to people who are higher up, or maybe our current apprentices who hopefully will become a project manager or in management level very soon. So we do tend to reach out to them and invite them and say if you're happy to come and be a guest speaker for an hour. And then if anybody is available, sometimes they do come along to lectures and they do some presentations for us.
Oh, that's an awesome opportunity. I'm so glad that you mentioned apprenticeships, because if I remember, I was trying to apply for the applied project management, which gives a placement period, but I mean, it was full by the time that I applied. But could you tell us a bit more about that, that course, applied project management, and the apprenticeships that you are working on them at the moment?
For applied project management, I think the difference between the normal project management is they should have a period for internship. So students, sometimes with help of university, they apply for different types of internships. I don't think they should limit themselves to northeast of UK. They can be anywhere. As far as that company accept them to be an intern, and then they work for them between 3 months to 6 months. And within that module, they have a module. Sometimes it could be a year, but then it depends on the company, how company is willing to sponsor or support that student. So within that period, students are to produce 3 pieces of works. Along working within the company, they will have an academic supervisor, which that academic supervisor needs to meet the student and the mentor at workplace at least, I think, 3 times during the internship, to make sure the student is achieving the goals of their applied project management and also happy with the workplace and receiving enough support from employer. And also they will have to complete a log on a monthly basis to explain what they've done within the project that they are currently working, what skills they've learned, what trainings they've attended. And then once they meet with the academic supervisor and the mentor, students will have to talk about the next plan from now till next meeting. What's the plan? And also hopefully the employer will have some comment about the student and their performance at workplace. So that's one piece of work that they will have to complete. Then they will have to write another piece of work, academic piece of work of 10,000 words. And talking about whatever skills they've learned, now what's the literature said about those skills, and then compare the practical learning with what it says in theory. And they will have to do 10 minutes of presentation at the end as well. So they need to talk about the objectives they had throughout the internship, and then how they made sure to achieve that objective and what's next for them.
Wow, that's so, I mean, to me, it's so rich, as such a rich experience. I mean, to have that, academic perspective and research, and then to kind of cross-reference it with the practical things that they experience. So, I mean, from what you've seen, it's just out of my curiosity, really. But has there been some research ideas out of these placements that maybe, I don't know if they happened, or you may remember? I mean, because I kind of feel that there is so much room for such a thing to find ideas to do research on.
Mm-hmm. I would say yes, it's not just out of the applied project management. It could be from the final year project that the students do as well, the dissertation. So it depends on which path do you want to consider. So for example, one of my applied project management students, at the end of her internship, she got a position within that workplace. So she decided to continue working and accept the offers. Whereas some students, they prefer to, once they finish their dissertation, they might approach different universities and then apply for a PhD.
Mhm.
based on what they did within their projects, or maybe part of their project could be linked to what they can do for the PhD, and they start applying not just for Sunderland but for other universities, because it depends. When it comes to PhD, people prefer sometimes fully funded PhDs. Sometimes they prefer maybe a little bit half of a scholarship, which not all university offer, but some people prefer to pay for their tuition fees by themselves and apply for anywhere they want to.
I see. Now that you mentioned the end of the year project, and I just remembered the dissertation, and every for every module throughout the term, we needed to deliver and submit a research article. Is it still the format of assessment for each module, or has it changed?
I would say still pretty much the format is the same, but so you will have to do different types of coursework. So for example, you might need to, for one module, you might need to just produce 3,000 words assignment looking at a topic given to you. Whereas for other modules, you might need to produce a presentation or analyze a case study and write a reflection from it. For some module, you might do a group work throughout the module, and at the end of that module, you still produce two pieces of work. One would be completely academically focused on a given topic. The other one would be around reflection about how your group did, what skills you have developed, and then reflect on your skills as well. But then throughout some modules, you might deliver lots of presentations, which to me, I think it's a necessity for a project manager to be able to stand in front of people and try to speak and try to convince people why this is that I'm proposing it's suitable for the project. So we are trying to develop this skills as well. Sometimes the students think, oh, it's too much presentation, but at the end of it, the first thing you would do, it's an interview that you will have to present yourself. So hopefully you will become stronger in that aspect as well when it comes to interviews, or hopefully in the future work.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about communication, isn't it? At the end of the day, I mean, as a project manager, you gotta be able to communicate well, and according to whatever format that the other person prefers, or would be more interested, or we're inclined to accept. So it's all about how to find that out, and also to implement that. So I'm so glad that you mentioned this, and also the case study, because I remember that we had lectures on Mondays, and then tutorials and kind of workshops throughout the week. And on some of them, we were presented with the case study, which was often very complex. And we needed to think about that situation. It was a mess in the project, and then we needed to find a way out. So I just remember how difficult it was, because at the same time, each of us in the team had a role. One was the project manager, one was another stakeholder, everybody like that. And then being good actors, we acted based on those, and we needed to find a way out of that. Could you expand on those case studies, and the type of experiences that students get to experience to become better project managers while they're studying?
Absolutely. So I think one of the probably main reasons that you will have to deal with a case study, let's say within a week, as you said, you go to a workshop, you go to a tutorial, this is the case study, work on it as a group. It's, for me, is to first of all let you know, as a project manager, you don't have a year to deal with these issues. Sometimes you might have a day, sometimes you might have a week, if you are lucky, a month to deal with the issues. So get yourself together, put yourself in a teams, try to quickly understand each other, and hopefully throughout the course you will get to know each other very well. But at the start it's a little bit tricky, who knows what. So I don't know how you experience it. Maybe at the start you didn't really trust your team members, that can this person do whatever they say or not, but gradually throughout the term, and based on what that person present within the group, so you started building up trust between yourself as well. So it's team building. How do you really communicate your skills with people? And then how do you really show that skill to people? Because sometimes people can talk really good but not walk the way that they said they talked. So then hopefully putting you in these situations, you will understand, okay, how difficult is it to build a team? Then sometimes people have other commitments that they might just drift away from studying to be able to fulfill that commitment. So then we try to tell people, okay, again, as a student or again, being part of this project, you're also responsible to deliver it. You cannot just say, well, I don't have time for it. No, you will have to spend time to be able to deliver the project given and also present yourself, because all of those you will have to reflect at the end of it. So if you imagine, if you don't do anything within those case studies, at the end, you will struggle to reflect on what you actually did because you don't have anything to write about. And then I would say, apart from communication, team building, and trust, then hopefully once you get to real life work, you will deal with conflict, something else that you definitely will deal with it, and also time management. So that time management is the skills that you also need to learn as a project manager.
Exactly. I can really attest to that. I remember exactly what the scenario that you just talked about that actually happened to us. We were a team of four, and one of us, I mean, we did not deliver, to be honest, whatever we. So we really had to kind of manage that. I mean, to navigate around that and not let it to affect the team dynamics, but at the same time to deliver. And if I remember correctly, each week we were fed new information. So we did not, like a real project, we did not know what's going to happen next week. So we had to make decisions based on what we had at the moment. To be honest, it was challenging, but it was a really good experiment because on real projects, it's really the case. I mean, we don't know how somebody will respond, we don't know how somebody would react. And it's always someone that would not deliver on time. So it's just good preparation. I mean, from the viewpoint of someone who wants to become a project manager. So yeah, that really was helpful.
Yeah, and I think hopefully that will help all of the students to develop their risk assessment skills as well. That what is the risk? What if somebody drops out? What if somebody don't do the work? Because even when I go back to when I studied project management, there was a project that we had to do and one person didn't do anything. So then what should I do? Should I start crying? Should I start going and talk to the module leader? Because that's again part of your skill. So for example, if that module leader is your line manager at workplace, how do you really communicate with that person? And trying to don't bring the team down by saying one person is not doing this, because you don't want to talk bad behind somebody's back. How to keep things professional, but how to also address the problem and then seek out for solution. Because for example, when we started complaining to the module leader, his response was, you as a team deal with it. So then we had to go back and find different ways of, okay, how should we address this with people? Because for example, in the UK culture, you don't tend to go and talk behind people's back. It should be straight in the face, but in a very professional way, not being angry or not being tempered. So it has to be direct, but in a very professional manner as well. So that was the skill that I've learned throughout the time, because I dealt with people from different culture, and I've noticed is the best thing is to deal with the people straight away with them and also address the problem in front of them to say, look, this is how it's impacted us. Then if nothing changes, then we can escalate it up and going to the higher up people.
Exactly. I think one of the great things that happen in there is that there are students from different countries of the world, each from very far away, very different cultures, different backgrounds, and each bring with them, that whole history and background, and they just have to figure it out, in a very short time, but also, how to become more professional and how to become really, that person that the whole team is going to rely on. Because to be honest, I mean, the project managers, like, I don't know if that's really it's, I don't know, it's some say that project managers are the glue that sticks the team together. But yeah, I mean, as that person, somebody should really be open and honest and also professional and understanding and a great listener. So it's a combination of things that it's really hard to acquire. But yeah, I mean, dealing with people from different places of the world, from with different backgrounds, is so very helpful. I also wanted to ask, because as project management students, they, students really are looking for external courses as well, because they're often told that you need to have this and that qualification in order to, land that job. Although the master's degree is, very high ranked, is, I mean, we've been told, and rightly so, that it's enough, really. But in your experience, how would you navigate? I mean, how would you navigate this? Should they go after qualifications, like Prince 2, and I don't know, there are some from APM also, or not? Because to be honest, they are addressed in the course. I remember having modules about them, but I would really appreciate your, viewpoint on that.
So I would talk about my own experience because if you want to find a job in the UK, it depends on where do you want to land in terms of management. So if you want to stick to education, like myself, being at university, you don't really need that because they don't want management Prince 2 and stuff, because we do have another let's say sector which is called higher education awards. And if I, for example, want to do anything around program leadership and management, for me it's better to go through that route and get the certification from there. But then that certification means I should have a bit of experience, then I apply for those certifications, not just go straight away to those let's say additional courses. Whereas if you want to be in construction industry, that would be Prince 2. That's something that they want. Sometimes some organizations, if you tell them that you do have a master, but then, for example, within the first year or within the first 2 years, you will happily apply for Prince 2 and you will get that certification if they need to. They sometimes even support you to get that. They provide the fund, because that's, let's say, Prince 2. I did Prince 2, the first one, not the hardest one, because there are, I think, two types of.
Foundation, I think it's
Yes.
called.
Yeah, I did the foundation one. It was a week compact course plus the assessment day. But then, because again, I ended up being in higher education, I didn't have to complete the rest of it. But I do have, for example, some of my classmates at the time, some of them, they moved to Saudi Arabia and Middle Eastern countries, so they didn't need that certification.
Mm-hmm.
As far as they got the master, they applied for companies over there and they got the job. Some other classmates, they got management in sport and management, let's say, in terms of marketing and business, so they didn't need that course. I think it all depends on what's your area and what's your background. The best way to find out what do you need, maybe look at some job advertise and see what they actually want from you. If they want any additional certification, I would go for those ones. But if they don't, no.
Yeah, especially that they can be quite pricey. I mean, some of them at least. So yeah, just want to make sure that you're doing the right investment. Uh, but yeah, thank you for that. Could we talk about a little bit about, the career support at the university? There is one amazing career guide center. I don't remember, Prospect, if I'm not mistaken.
It's Graduate Prospect.
Yeah, Graduate Prospect. They offer all sorts of support. But I would really appreciate, I mean, if you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So in graduate prospect, what I believe they do is, if you would like to develop your CV, you can book an appointment with them and develop your CV with them. If you would like to apply for some certain jobs, and because some certain jobs, they want you to write, let's say, 1,000 words or 500 words of your background, and you try to explain why do you fit with these jobs. So as far as you fill in your application, then before submission, I would say if you can book an appointment with them and say, look, this is a job that I want to apply and this is how I answer the questions, they would give you some tips to be able to improve your application. For the applied project management students, we did have a couple of students that they got help to be able to find that internship through graduate prospect. Something else that they might not be able to do, but us can do, is to write a reference for a student. So I have had some students that they applied for different jobs and they've asked if they can provide my details to be their reference, and I happily submit a reference for them. So the workplace will contact myself directly. They will ask me to either fill in a form or click on the link and then go and submit your answers. They normally tend to ask how was the student attendance, how was the student behavior during group works, and all of these. So we should have, because we do have access to student results and grades, then we can write a lot more about the attendance. That's why maybe graduate prospect, they will not be able to provide that level of information.
There also, I mean, on the website, there used to be lots of, available positions, so they can actually apply through, the university website. So, and I don't think that, they are publicly advertised for, are they?
No. So, for example, as a lecturer, I can't access to them. But as a student, you can, within your username and passwords and stuff, you can create a profile, and then they will advertise those graduate jobs and opportunities in there. So let's say, for example, University of Sunderland students can get access to just those job roles. Something else that they do, and I just forgot, is I think they also help with the startup projects as well. Because they do tend to come to at least to my classes for undergraduate students, and they try to advertise, if you do have a business idea, if you think that this business idea could be developed to something bigger, you can come to us and they will help them to set up and do other extra things. For example, if you ended up asking them for help, they might give you, let's say, if you want to design a website for your business, they might give it to a competing student, so they do it as a project and they develop the website for you, so they will benefit and you will also benefit from it. So I don't think it costs much to ask students to do the works and stuff.
Oh, that's really awesome. And also there are some I think guidances, and in terms of getting ready for interviews. I remember there is a specific part which nobody really knew about, but it was just full of options and full of things to learn and practice, like behavioral questions, technical questions in the interviews, and some sample questions from different companies. I remember Amazon being on them, and so many other companies that they had just gathered all the questions that they ask on their interviews, and the several stages that they might go through. So it was just a resource for itself. So it was really awesome. I'm conscious of time. I don't want to make this a very long session, so I'm just going to ask a last two questions. One is being that we know that Sunderland University is known for the career prospect of its graduates, and there are so many graduates that they have successfully reached the career goals they wanted. Is there any I don't know, stories that come to mind when you think of some older students that and after some time they got in touch and you just learned that they got it?
Well, I would say yes, there's a lot of them. If the students are being in touch with me through LinkedIn, easily see, okay, they've got this position. Or sometimes in the past 2 years, I had some students that either if I provide a reference for them, they keep every 4 months or 5 months, they keep sending an email that I've got this position, now I'm doing this. I know one person who's got a job in, I think, one of the oil and gas industries in the Newcastle. And then we have a couple of other people got some management role in the healthcare services. My own classmates, let's say from 2011, some of them now they have maybe 10 years or 12 years of experience within management in either the home country or different places around the world.
Well, that's really awesome. I mean, that must be a great feeling, to be honest. I mean, even if I'm not really involved in uh, teaching something to somebody, but the fact that you get to see how someone starts, you know, not doesn't know much or hasn't figured it out yet, and then there's all of these doubts and ups and downs, and then after years you see them happy where they are. That must be a really, I don't know, great experience. So I
Okay.
just envied you for a moment.
And I think we have the other way around as well. Sometimes I do go into lectures with the students who might come from 20 years of experience within workplace. That's the scary point for me. And I'm just like, they probably know more than me, but they want to do project management to get some promotion or to go to next level. And it's also nice to see those people with lots of years of experience, what they think compared to somebody who is just come from undergraduate degree to do the study. And they will be a really good source of help as well when it comes to lectures and workshops, because they can teach other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned APM and the APM events. Well, I can confidently say that it's really helpful in, building connections and getting to know people in the industry, in the field, from in different sectors, and also the events themselves. So how can students get it more involved in that? And do you suggest any other ways that they could, try to get more involved and then get more experience and get ready for their career after graduation?
I think using that APM as a free source of information, or maybe attending events, is the best one, because through that one you will get to see different people or network with different people, and you might find out that, oh, there's another event happening within this industry. Something else is through this LinkedIn, for example. If your background is in construction, try to follow different pages in construction. And I'm sure they also have either their live events or their face-to-face networking events or exhibitions that the students can go into and just try to expand the network and get to know people. Because there has been times that the students go to these events and they try to find out, oh, actually, this employer might need somebody within the next 6 months. So I better follow their websites or maybe their LinkedIn to get some updates. Yeah, I would say as a project management, you should be open to networking and you should be open to communicate with people too, because you don't want to end up working even in management in one sector for years. You might want to move on to something else or in a different sector or going higher up. So it's always good to network with people and know them.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, even that, and also the fact that so many people struggle with finding, their place. It happens all the time that somebody, is really knowledgeable, is really experienced, but has not yet, you know, um, gotten the ability to present the way they should. So attending these events really help them in just practicing and getting better and then finally get that confidence that maybe was lacking before, but now they're just so sure of it because they have met so many people and they have practiced it over and over and over again. So I think, yeah, I mean, attending those events as a student and then trying to find one's place where I fit in all of this, that would be a really good exercise for any student. I'm going to say that lastly, Simin, what would you advise to someone that will want to become a project manager?
I would say don't think once you get the certificate you know everything. You still will make a mistake. Even after 10 years of being in a leadership position, you will still make a mistake because you will be put in place in different teams and you will have to get along with the team, know the team, and also, let's say, even if it comes to splitting the work between the team members, you need to get to know people. Don't be scared of change, because that's, again, something as a project manager, you should be open to change. Sometimes you might like the change, sometimes you don't like the change, but I'm sure, again, you will find the best way, depending on what team you're working with, how to implement that change. And again, communicate with each other. There is nothing better than communicating, and try to resolve the misunderstandings, because sometimes it's not people not doing the things that they asked to, they misunderstood what they should do.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you. Are there any other questions, Yusuf? Would you like to ask anything?
Hi, hi, Simin.
Hello, how are you?
Good, 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 good. You know,
Good.
when I saw the advert and I saw that Mina was bringing you on, I'm like, oh no, I must create time to be here, and also to use the opportunity to really appreciate you for your help, your guide, and then the way you put out your lectures during the lecture days has been really, really helpful. And I'm glad that just a week after graduation, I was able to land a job.
Yes.
I know it wasn't easy, but I was able to put in the work, and it requires starting early. Okay, let me just quickly use opportunity to just share with prospective project managers, or those on board that are looking out to really get the project management degree or be a project manager tomorrow. It comes with a lot of work, but it requires starting early, learning from the mistakes, connecting with the right people. I remember when I sent out my first application was in February. That was around the start of second semester. Yeah, that was around the start of second semester. I started putting out my applications, not with the expectation that I was going to get a job that period, but because I wanted to learn how the job market operates in the UK, especially when it comes to optimizing CV, preparing for interview, and then going through all the interview process. And I think software one part that has really helped a lot in achieving that was the presentation part of the courses, especially during the tutorials and also the group presentation. It was really, really helpful because a big part of project management is presenting reports to stakeholders, leading teams, and then if you're leading the team, definitely you're communicating, you're reaching out to them, you're speaking to solutions, you're trying to track issues and resolve issues before it becomes defects. So those sessions were really, really helpful, and I was able to go through the interview process. Like, I remember the first interview I had. I'm sorry to say, I wouldn't employ myself after that first interview.
We've all been there.
I wouldn't employ myself. I think that was with a law firm in Newcastle. That was like 3 months into my applications. I wouldn't employ myself, but I took it as a learning process. I learned through everything. And I remember on LinkedIn, in fact, this is why LinkedIn is very important. I remember on LinkedIn, I saw a post about as a job seeker, it's always important for you to reach back to recruiters and then ask for feedback especially after interviews. So what I try to do is I always ask for feedback. Then most times some recruiters are happy to give that feedback, but some might not. But with the few that you get back, take that feedback seriously, learn from them, accept the mistake, be willing to make those mistakes. And just as you say, Simin, we are not perfect yet. We're just going into the industry. We'll learn a lot. Like, it's a continuous learning process. So the willingness to make mistakes, accept feedback, learn from mistake, and keep improving every day are very, very helpful. Once again, thank you very much for this opportunity. It's nice connecting with like minds. I yield the mic.
That was awesome. Thank you, Yusuf. I mean, yeah, you couldn't be more right about it, honestly. And the fact that you can, retell this story and laugh about it, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because we've all been there, honestly.
Yeah.
And it shows that, to me, it shows that how far along you've come and how you've, took that as a great lesson and then, worked it out. And it shows that you have gotten better and better and better to a point
Absolutely.
that you can address that so confidently right now. So I'm just so thrilled to hear that. So awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Really,
Thank you, Mina.
it's
Thank
always
you.
great to hear stories. And the fact that you started applying in second semester, I mean, like, good for you. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's
because
something that
the
almost nobody
Sunderland
does.
Project Management module is very rich. In fact, with just one semester, if you know what you're doing, if you're serious with the module, like the modules are very rich. If just the first semester, if you really know what you're doing, honestly, you can just start putting in those applications because you're covering modules like stakeholder management, risk management, communication, learning from cultures, then project management methodology. Because in fact, most of those methodologies, I think you understand it better when you get into the organization.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
You understand it better when you get into the organization. So the module is very rich. With just first semester, if you can put in the work, you begin to build that confidence gradually, and start throwing your shots. You don't know where it will land, and then one day you get the yes.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you
will
just need
happen.
just one yes. You just need just one
Exactly.
yes.
That's the point. I'm so happy that you said that
Yeah,
because that's all it takes, that one yes, and it'll happen,
yeah,
It'll
yeah.
happen. I'm so glad that you said that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I saw a hand raising. I don't know if it's still the case. If it's a question, wrong button. Okay, no worries. So, thank you, everyone, for joining today. It was a blast. Thank you so much. Please, please leave feedback. I would love to hear what you think and to get better and to address the things that you would want me to address. So please leave feedbacks. Thank you once again, Simin. Thank you so much for joining us today. I enjoyed it really very much, and I'm sure that everybody else did too. I wish all the best, and thanks to everybody who joined us. Have a great rest of the day or night, um, based on where you are, and good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.